So the Biomedical Sciences program has been around for over 25 years now. We're a program designed to teach a range of the medical sciences disciplines. So, as I say, we're housed within the Division of Biosciences. We're an interdisciplinary program, which means we teach a range of subjects, which, as you can see on the slide, includes things like anatomy, cell biology, developmental biology, genetics, etc. With our home department being mainly in neuroscience, physiology, and pharmacology. UCL is ranked as one of the top 10 universities in the world, and you can look at various rankings. So we often look at the world ranking, and that usually puts us, as I say, in the top 10 universities. So in 2024, we usually work 12 months back. In 2024, we were ranked 9th in the world for life sciences and medicine. So we're internationally recognised for our biomedical sciences research, which means the staff that are carrying out cutting edge biomedical research are based here at UCL and teach on the programme. And it also means we can offer a huge range of literature and laboratory-based projects within the degree programme, meaning that you really can participate in world-leading research at UCL. In terms of the degree structure, our programme is taught across faculties, but particularly within the Faculty of Life Sciences, and is based on a mixture of lectures, practical classes, seminars, etc. And these are backed up by small group tutorials and computer-based exercises. So in the first year, you'll often be in very large lecture theatre-based classes with maybe lab classes backing those up. So in terms of our timetable, we tend to run lectures in the morning, practical classes in the afternoon, but not every afternoon. So the modules are a nice mixture and a combination of coursework, practicals, web-based exercises, etc., for you to get to grips with a range of assessment techniques, a range of educational techniques throughout the different modules that make up the degree programme. So as students come through the programme, at the end of most academic years, there are end-of-year examinations, which then allow you to progress to the next year. Now, our programme is quite broad, and therefore, when students come into the programme, all your first year modules are compulsory. So it gives you a taster of a range of subjects. So we study chemistry, biochemistry, molecular biology, anatomy, pharmacology, so the way we can use drugs to fool cells into behaving in certain ways. So it's not about prescribing drugs, it's about using drugs to change cell function. One of the courses I teach is human physiology, so we experiment on one another to see how your heart works, your lungs work, etc. Having studied biochemistry and molecular biology in term 1, we build on that with genes to organisms in term 2, where you focus on how behaviour and appearance changes with genetic traits. And then cell and developmental biology. So looking at cellular function, looking at how cells are programmed and how we go from a single cellular organism to the complex multicellular organisms we are as adults. So across each academic year, the modules that a student takes are separated into 15, 30, and in the final year, 45 credits for projects. And students take a total of 120 credits per year. So no more, no less. We run a 3-year full-time programme and don't have part-time options. Our online timetable shows our students where their lecture activities are. So it gives location, gives the lecturer's name, gives the module code. And these are usually repeating patterns on a weekly basis across a term, with, as I said, laboratory classes in the afternoons. So here we've got biochemistry repeated again on a Friday, physiology on a Thursday. There will usually be pharmacology on some of the Monday afternoons. So these patterns repeat, and you get a live timetable which updates throughout your time at UCL. The Biomedical Sciences programme has many options as you go through it. So in year one, there's this common set of modules that all our students take. And within the programme, you've got a year tutor. So I'm the first year tutor as well as the admissions tutor. So I'm the person that you get to meet as the face of biomedical sciences. I also help you settle into the programme. But then as students go down through the programme, there's more help and support. So in the second year, students will pick a stream within the programme. So a kind of theme. So we've got themes of anatomy and physiology, neuroscience, developmental biology, pharmacology, and cell and molecular biology. And within each of these streams, we've got an academic member of staff whose research or teaching focus is in these areas. So students towards the end of their year one select a stream, and then within the stream, about half of the modules that you would then take in the second year are kind of predetermined, which means around half the courses are optional in the second year. And then as students progress into the third year, the only compulsory elements are to do a project, whether that's literature-based or laboratory-based, so either a 30 or a 45 credit project. And all the other modules are then optional. But depending on which stream students are in, you will have a selection of prerequisites that will be required for a range of different third-year modules. But they definitely overlap between the streams. And then at the end of year three, students graduate with a BSc in biomedical sciences, with many of our students going on to do masters. So predominantly our students go on to do master's programs elsewhere, PhDs, or graduate entry into things like medicine, law, dentistry, etc. When we look at this, you can see that I've only shown you half the diagram because we do have other optional elements, but we have to provide a lot of help and support for students to follow this information. So we also offer transfers out of the programme. Now, they are not guaranteed. They are options to transfer onto some of our other programmes. So options here are to some of our programmes that don't have a UCAS entry point, such as physiology or a joint honours in physiology and pharmacology, or to some of our programmes that then allow our students to do either a BSc or an MSci. So an MSci is an integrated master's programme. So it's like a 4-year undergraduate study, but the final year is actually studying at the master's level. But it's integrated because it's integrated with your undergraduate teaching. You progress through straight on to the master's year, and it's taught at the undergraduate fee tariff, which is much less than the master's tariff, because a master's programme is usually 12 months, a full academic year, whereas the integrated masters, because students are familiar with the institution, familiar with the assessment profiles, etc., then it's taught at the undergraduate timing, which is around about 9 months of the academic year. So we offer programs in genetics and human genetics. Most students joining those programs will come through our our biological sciences BSc, which is very similar in structure to the biomedical sciences, but the modules that make it up are different. So in biological sciences, you wouldn't be studying the medical sciences. You will be doing biology, comparative biology, ecology, environment, etc. So the biological sciences rather than the biomedical sciences. We also have a BSc or MSci in molecular biology. The main route into that is through our biochemistry BSc. It has the same entry requirements as biomedical sciences, but then you wouldn't study anatomy, cell biology, or physiology within that. So again, you would do more chemistry. Our students do a 15 credit module, biochemistry students do a 30 credit module, etc. We've also got the BSc and MSci in neuroscience and pharmacology, which are probably our most popular transfer options for biomed students. They both have their own UCAS entry point. And again, you would be in competition with students that are coming through that program. So the number of transfer places depend on the number of students already on those programs. So students transfer with their first year course units, transfer, change their degree, title and outcome, and graduate with those qualifications. Students can also leave between year 2 and year 3. So that is to our BSc or MSci in cell biology. So cell biology is not something you've often come across at school or college. So, excuse me, we expose you to that in year 1. You can select either stream 3 or stream 5, so a developmental biology stream or a cells and molecules stream, which would lead you towards an application to transfer to the BSc or MSci in cell biology. Or we have a BSc in immunology, which takes students from our medical program and a number of other life sciences programs to do a 1-year, 3rd-year focus on immunology. And students only have to take the immunology and infection modules in the 2nd year to apply for that. But again, it's on a competitive basis. So a handful of students do that per year. So that's the complex nature of the degree structure. It's got lots of flexibility, lots of choice, but the vast majority of students stay with the flexibility within the degree program and graduate with a BSc in biomedical sciences. So here's just a summary of the different options that are available. They are options to apply to. They are not guaranteed that students can transfer onto those programs. And many students, when it comes around to it, stay with the biomedical sciences degree program in the 2nd and 3rd year. So in terms of numbers, we have around 130 places with variations in admissions criteria that can go up to much higher numbers depending on the academic year that we find ourselves in. So through COVID, we certainly went up to nearly 200 places per year. So we make a commitment to UCAS that if you make the grades, we offer you a place and we take you into the program. So currently we have just under 1,000 students that are made offers. We have just short of 400 students on the program. In terms of our graduation ratios, they tend to sit that most of our students come out with a first or a 2-1. So good upper 2nd class degrees. So we are nicely located in London. We're in a nice leafy area of London. We've got good connections with both King's Cross and St Pancras and Euston Station, all actually within walking distance of our central campus. We have a hospital, teaching hospital on our main site. We're actually not very far from Great Ormond Street as well, with a lot of biomedical sciences research going on in those areas. So we're very well placed in London for you to do very well and have great connections. So we have a large number of students on our campus. We excel in terms of our research outcome, and we have a very large number of undergraduate programs at UCL at any one time. And we're a very diverse global population in terms of both our student body and in our academic scientists as well. So what can you do with a biomedical sciences degree? Well, across all universities, they poll students in their final year of graduation. That's called our destinations of leavers from higher education. And part of that data set is also the National Student Survey. So from that data, we know that our students usually go on to work or further study. So very few of our students kind of drop out and take time out after they graduate. Most will go on to activate their graduate careers very quickly. So we're very successful at placing students in well-known large-scale companies. And we're very lucky that we still have employers that come to us and provide a lot of help and support for our students choosing which career path they want to go into. So in terms of and compare, because we follow graduates for up to 5 years after graduation, so we can see if we look in the similar groups of degree programs that the government gathers together, students from UCL are usually doing very well in terms of their salaries, both after graduation and 5 years after graduation. Now, let me put some caveats on this, is that many of our students end up staying in the southeast of England for future work, and that tends to attract higher salaries than you would see across the whole of the UK. In terms of what our students say about us, the National Student Survey, very good scores, and that the staff are good at explaining things. We provide good resources and opportunities for our students, and there was lots of access to equipment, software, etc. So you can find all of this information if you wish to compare one biomed course to another, for example. You use this website called the Discover Uni website. So it's hosted with government statistics that all universities have to provide to the government, and you can compare one university to the next. So in 2024-25, we were the University of the Year, voted for in the Good University Guide published by the Sunday Times. You'll also find us in a number of rankings that you find for universities. So I'm going to stop sharing now. So as I said, we have myself, we have at least one administrator and a couple of students from the programme here to answer any of the questions that you may have. So it's up to you. You can post them in the chat. You can turn your camera on and ask them in person, or if you have the function, you can raise your hand, and if not, you can just turn your microphone on and ask if you're happy to do so. And if not, you can please put your comments in the chat, and we will work through questions that you have from both myself as the academic in charge today, but also from a student perspective as well, because we think that's very important for you making up your mind about wanting to come to UCL or not. Okay, there's a question here from Julie, which says, which is the most commonly chosen stream within the programme? So it varies. It varies between stream 1 and stream 5. So our anatomy and physiology streams are highly desirable for many students seeking graduate entry into medicine. So many graduate medical courses ask that students have higher level knowledge of anatomy and physiology. Mostly our first year curriculum ticks those boxes, but many students who have medicine in mind wish to continue with physiology, anatomy, pharmacology, and all of that can be done within stream 1. The alternative, which is a very close second, is our cell and developmental biology. And again, the molecular biology component of that stream is very highly recommended because it really pushes you in terms of cutting edge techniques that you need for future biomedical sciences research, and therefore is very attractive to students coming into the programme. Whereas probably our smallest, least popular stream is the developmental biology one, but that's not because it's hard or difficult to get onto or anything like that. So I did a developmental biology degree when in the UK, the only places you could do a specialised developmental biology degree were UCL or Glasgow. And I went to Glasgow, but now at UCL. So it depends on the research activity for those universities, and for developmental biology, it's very high at UCL. So there's lots of choice in all of the streams. And again, the optional modules do overlap. So it's usually not at the expense of things that you may also be interested in. Okay. Sujuti, is there an option to move to a more specialized stream like neuroscience after year 2 or year 3? No, there isn't. Because the neuroscience BSc has its own UCAS entry point, it will take students in after year 1 because there's a significant overlap of modules between the neuroscience BSc year 1 and the biomedical sciences year 1 BSc. But after year 2 or 3, no, there's too much variations and there's not the scope for taking on more student numbers at that stage. So if you want to transfer into the neuroscience, the options are to do it either as a UCAS entry point, not through biomedical sciences, or applying to transfer at the end of year 1. Ida, are there any internship options in UCL hospitals? So internships are very specific career destinations. There's certainly a lot of volunteering that goes on through either individual direct contact or through our student union, who arranges a good amount of student volunteering within the hospital sector. In terms of specific internships, I don't have a list of those, but our career service would. But in terms of placements in hospitals for work experience, yes, we do. We have students that go and join what's often called the Teddy Bear Club, which is part of Great Ormond Street. But in terms of more internships based in medical sciences, we usually have studentships, which students can perform research over the summer vacation time, which pays for your lab time and pays for accommodation. But in terms of just gaining kind of work experience, etc., then there are many options to do that, and many of our students do that on a volunteering basis. It's usually a reasonable commitment of time. Other kind of internships that we push students towards is that we have things like the Laidlaw Scholarship, which is an active research and management program at UCL that students apply to within the first year and continue across their vacation time between years 1 and 2 and between years 2 and 3 to build up not just a research profile, but also your business and management acumen along the way. Okay, Sujiti, does UCL have any lab research work experience opportunities for sixth form students? We do, through the Sutton Trust, run summer schools for students to come in. So again, you might want to contact your sixth form and find out if they're part of that programme, in particular across the London sector. Apart from that, you do not need research lab work experience to apply to this program. It's very nice if you can get it, but it's often, it's not a deal breaker, and it's often very difficult for students to get work experience in the lab before joining their undergraduate program. Is there an option for, so Venetia, is there an option for a placement year? Across UCL, any student can take a year out and take a placement year. In terms of biomedical sciences, most students do not need to take a year out to gain work experience because we have research experience and vacation scholarships that students can engage in through their 3 years, that you don't need to add another additional year of fees. But students can take a placement year. We've always had it on our profile that students can take a year in industry. But in 20 years, I've had one student do it and they really regretted it. So within the program, we build up your experience, we build up your research profile. So you don't need to take another year, because students come from all over the world to study with us for an academic year or a term through affiliate programs with other universities, because UCL is one of the international hubs for biomedical sciences research, with the Wilson Institute for Biomedical Research based on the main UCL campus. Okay, on average, how many places are available for the different MSci transfers? It varies from year to year. There's usually just a handful of places, but there's only usually a handful of students that actually apply. In previous research, is previous research opportunity valued when applying? It's a value, but again, not all students can access that. So again, it's equity and access issues if we only took students with that type of work experience. So we don't want to exclude students that may wish to apply to us. So it's a great opportunity, but definitely you don't have to have it. It's nice if you do, but you don't have to have it. Yuma, when it comes to applying to what does a strong application tend to show? Well, it's a commitment to science. It's wanting to use the degree for a range of purposes, not just, well, I've finished at school, I don't know what to do next. It's what inspires you, what area of science are you interested in? That's the kind of strong applications that we're looking for. So GT, what is the criteria to move to the MSci program? Do you have to minimum mark, and can one move into PhD? No. So in terms of minimum mark, we expect students to be performing at least a 2-1 level, so usually kind of 65% grade or above. In terms of minimum marks, in terms of move directly to a PhD program, no, you would have to apply to a PhD program. PhD are postgraduate research degrees, and MSci is sitting in a grey area between undergraduate and postgraduate, but again, they're defined end of term program. So once you finish the program, you finish the program. But as with anything, you would often apply 6 months to a year in advance for your subsequent study. Abir, are offers still being given out for biomedical sciences? When are they usually given? So for 2025 entry, we've given out all our offers, and for 2025 entry, we have the usual cutoff of mid to late January for applications, and we usually receive around 14 to 1500 applications for 130 places. So we don't go into clearing. We have never gone into clearing with biomedical sciences because we're usually oversubscribed. Why study biomedical sciences over general biology or pharmaceutical sciences? So at UCL, we offer degree programs in biological sciences, pharmacology. We also have a pharmacy degree. We also have an applied medical sciences program, which is taught at our North London Royal Free campus rather than on the main Bloomsbury campus. We also have degrees in human sciences, so like biomed, a mixture of sciences, but this time a mixture of the life sciences, such as anatomy and physiology, with the social sciences, such as geography and anthropology. So that's one you might not have heard of. So why biomedical sciences? We're one of the top-rated life sciences subjects at UCL. We provide students with a range of skills that suit our students to be quite flexible in terms of, you've never made a wrong decision, you can make more and more specialized choice as you go through the degree, so that you're picking up new skills, experiencing things, saying, oh yeah, well, I don't want to study anatomy again, but I did enjoy physiology. And so therefore, there's no wrong decisions that you've picked to do a degree for 3 to 4 years and then you find out after year one you don't like it at all. You're dipping into a number of subjects, and therefore, because you've got a lot of optional modules in year 2 and 3, you can very much tailor make your degree or the studies that you have within the degree that match your interests. Okay, IB entry requirements, they are 666 at higher level to include chemistry, biology, and the third option is preferred to be maths, but we will consider a third subject instead of maths. So very similar to the A level of AAA, with A in chemistry and biology as definite and maths as the preferred option, but we will consider a third course. Right, sorry, I scrolled down too quickly. I lose the place. Okay, Julie asked, do we need to make the choice to do an integrated master's in year one? So no, in biomedical sciences, we don't offer an MSci in biomedical sciences because 4 years of a broad degree doesn't help anyone. So if you're doing a broad BSc, students would then usually either transfer onto an internal MSci or apply for a full master's program subsequent to their to finishing their degree. So no, we don't have an MSci option within biomedical sciences. So if students then choose to transfer to an internal MSci, yes, they do that within year one, and it's active from year 2 onwards. Out of the placements, how many are available to international applicants? Does the acceptance rate differ? So we don't have specific placements that are ours. So our students are applying to a range of internships, scholarships, etc., across the sector. So some of them are home only, some of them are specific for international students. Many of our international students go home and do internships abroad. So again, in terms of rates, I wouldn't have rates because they're often with other institutions. Okay, Ada, I got an offer from UPSI, so that's the University Preparatory Certificate in Science and Engineering at UCL, and looking to progress to biomedical sciences. Which grades are expected? So again, we would expect you to meet the grades that are set at the time. UPSI will set you internal grades of, I can't remember their grading scheme, but again, you need to have high grades in chemistry and biology within the course. But they will teach you also academic English, maths, etc., and you will get lab exposure within that program. Okay, Venetia, your third A level is business. Would you get an offer? So you wouldn't be high on my offer list. What I would generally do is, because maths is preferred, I would offer to students that have chemistry, biology, maths first, and then I would offer to students that are offering an alternative third subject. Now, business will have a significant of maths and statistics within it. So that is quite desirable. So your business A level would appeal to me more than French or Spanish would as a language qualification. So as a scientist, business appeals for me as the admissions tutor because it has that maths component within it. You want to go into cardiology, what route could you take to get there? So you can at UCL apply to biomedical sciences, you could apply to applied medical sciences. If you don't have maths, again, biochemistry has prefers to take maths as the third subject. But in terms of cardiology, you could go through the pharmacology route as well. So that would give you more of the drugs as well as physiology components within the degree. So there are options there. So the pharmacology BSc has a slightly lower entry criteria than biomedical sciences. Julie, is it better to take a master's rather than an integrated master's if we intend to do a PhD? So that's a decision for you to make often later in the day. In terms of PhD applications, most PhD applications are not directly from BScs that you go straight from BSc into PhD. Many applications now want you to do a master's before you do the PhD. Some will have integrated master's years within the PhD training program, so it varies enormously. Again, depending where you want to study in the UK, many of the programs have now included a master's year. Across Europe and elsewhere, masters are usually a preparatory step to applying to PhD programs. Again, Yuma, you asked about maths being preferred. Again, economics, like business, has a good amount of maths within the course. So although it's not preferred, it would be pretty high on my recommendation list of other A levels to consider. Abia, I think we finished making 2025 offers. We've certainly held offer holder days for 2025 intake students. So if you've not heard from UCL Admissions, I would contact them directly or do it via Ask UCL. Okay, if you receive, go ahead. If you receive an offer from both biomed and neuroscience, but not sure which one to choose, if I start with biomedical sciences and later want to switch to neuroscience, would I be able to do so? The neuroscience program is slightly more competitive because it's smaller than biomedical sciences. So we're usually looking at, I think, about 75 places for neuroscience, although they are looking to increase those numbers. And on our books, about 130 for biomedical sciences. Again, in terms of grades, I don't think there's no grade differential between those programs. So it's very much, do you want to be more focused on neuroscience? If neuroscience is what you are more interested in, then you're better to go for the focus degree. Sanjiti, for applicants to undergraduate biomedical sciences, what would be your ideal application? Well, as I said, just a passion for the subject. Have a look at the types of things that UCL offers, and that's what we would want to know about. Okay, so Ada, for students who want to start their own business, how does the system support it? So we have business incubators within UCL. So we do help with startup companies. I know we always have a range of entrepreneurial students on our program, and many have done very well in the past. So a couple of years ago, we had students that joined the Holtz Prize application. So that was environmentally friendly educational project. And what these students put forward, so there was one statistics student, one economics student, and two biomeds, and they made solar powered rice dryers, which sounds really basic, really simple. But what they were doing was reducing losses in terms of rice production, which were environmentally friendly because you could dry the rice using solar power. So they were 3D printing materials, giving them to farmers and being paid back by increased revenue from increased yields. So they acquired $1 million worth of seed funding to get their project up off the ground, and were already successful business people before they even graduated. They'd come back and finish their third year degree after they won their prize, and then went off to follow their business ventures. But we've always got a number of students that are running their own startups that UCL will help and support you with. Okay, does UCL offer student exchange programs to study abroad? We do have in-house programs such as Study China, where students would usually go in the vacation times, usually between year 2 and year 3. We've had students engage on those programs. We don't have affiliate programs with other universities within biomedical sciences. Our degree in biological sciences does have an affiliate year, and our human sciences program does have affiliate years with other universities, particularly Australia and the US, but biomedical sciences doesn't, because many students come to UCL to study biomedical sciences. So we don't have student exchange programs, and we don't have a specific biomed study abroad year, but you will find that on prospectuses for some of our other programs. Again, I can see our students been answering questions in the background. Do we have any questions specifically for our student volunteers about why they came to UCL, what their experience has been like? Again, we pride ourselves on our support networks. So within the first year, you have someone like myself who looks after a year group within the program, but also you have a personal tutor who's an academic member of staff that stays with you through your 3 years of the program and gets to know you on a regular basis across year 1 and then in subsequent years. And we also have student mentors who are students in year 2 or 3 of the program that give it their time, usually every other week in term 1. And they give you their email address, their phone numbers. They'll meet as a group of usually about 8 to 10 students to show you where the cheapest place to eat or drink or find your way around the campus. So they give you that kind of support, but also study skills and support. We have student support workers that help you with that as well. Okay, so question for Zoe, that's Chloe, that's definitely for our student. How have you managed your workload within biomedical sciences? So can I get one of the students to stick their cameras on and answer that, or type in the chat, whichever works best for you?
Should I take the question if that's all right?
Thank you.
So I think for me personally, the experience was very different. So in year 1, as a professor said that you have to take like all the subjects. So it's like your energy has to focus on a diverse range of fields instead of something, because there will be subjects that you enjoy versus subjects that you won't enjoy. So I think in the first year, your workload in terms of that is a little heavy and intense, and it does take some time to adjust as you transition from your high school. But as you move on to year 2, which is what I'm currently in, because you will get to pick a specific stream, your energy is more focused and channelized. So, and you're also doing a stream that you probably enjoy and want to study. And because your modules then kind of interlink, so it is easier to handle the workload in year 2 as compared to year 1, which I felt was a little intense because you're also adjusting to uni life, but you do get online resources that the university provides, and you can always reach out to your seniors in terms of their notes, and you have study help and study resources provided by the university as well as past year papers so that you can, prep well.
Okay, any other questions? So again, Julie asked about support. So as I said, students will have a year tutor, they'll have a personal tutor, they'll have a student mentor, we have student advisors that help with time management, study skills, etc. We have diverse students that again provide targeted support and assistive technologies where required for any students. We also have disability rooms where again the assistive technology can be hardwired at UCL and provide quieter spaces to work from. Okay, any other questions?
There was a question from Bertrand, are biology and chemistry compulsory in year 13 to qualify? I don't know if you saw that one.
Yes, so they are, because chemistry and biology at either A level or IB are essential to get an offer. So we've got chemistry, biology are required, and maths is preferred. So we will consider alternatives to the maths, but yes, you need chemistry and biology. So in terms of the IB, it can, the baccalaureate can be a little more difficult to meet those requirements. So we would often drop the maths, and you can usually provide an extra year's worth of maths as an optional element within the French bac. But again, if you go to our online portals, you can put in your country of origin and it will give you a much more detailed breakdown of the entry requirements for particular subject areas. So we see that with French bac, and we also see that with Hungarian baccalaureate as well, that it isn't easy to meet our entry criteria from your home country. But if you put in those individual countries, it will give you guidance for subject-specific requirements. Any other questions? Anything else our student volunteers want to say? What swung it for them to come to UCL, or what they've enjoyed at UCL, or what they haven't considered would be part of the program that they've been pleasantly surprised by? No? So when students are applying to UCL, one of the things that often puts people off of coming to London is accommodation. And in first year, we guarantee all our first year's accommodation if you apply before the deadline. So it makes a big difference being on campus, being close to the campus. So all of our accommodation is usually within walking distance of the central campus, so you don't have any additional travel costs involved, and they're a great way of meeting people, not only on your program, but other students at UCL. So we've got UCL accommodation, we've also got University of London accommodation, where you can mix with other students studying in London, but not necessarily at UCL. Okay, did any of our student volunteers do any workshops or experiences before they came to UCL? No. So I think the key thing is, if you can, try and get to one of the in-person open days. I think it's important for you to see the campus, experience the campus, because many of these decisions are more heart decisions than head. So again, yes, you want to pick a very highly rated university, but you also want to be sure that you're happy where you know where the university is within London. It's a big city, very different across different areas of the camp of the city centre. So, I always encourage people to come and visit when our big open days are on. So again, towards the end of June this year, 27th and 28th of June, I think, are our big open days in person. So if you can, that's definitely something to do. But you can come and visit the campus outside those times and do either a self-guided tour around campus or book into one of the campus tours. It wouldn't be with me and it wouldn't be specific for biomedical sciences, but it does give you a feel for UCL. So Ada, so at home there isn't a biomedical sciences program, just biomedical engineering programs. Worried about the prospects back home. So yes, we've had other Turkish students before. That's not an issue. In terms of biomedical science programs, so we also get a lot of Chinese students. And again, many universities do not offer a biomedical sciences program. It's even in the UK, most of the programs are only 25 to 30 years old. They're not established programs like our physiology that's been running for 150, nearly 200 years. They are newer programs. They've come about by students kind of wanting more flexible approaches to their degree. So while we do offer biomedical sciences, engineering, but at a master's level. So with biomedical sciences as a BSc, it allows you to possibly go home, do a master's back in Turkey to meet your recruiters' requirements within your home country. We see many of our international students doing that. But again, it will open up a huge array of work experiences which are transferable both within the UK sector and across the world. So many of our students go back to their home countries with their qualifications and do very well. Some use it as a stepping stone to other countries, particularly the US, but also heading back across Asia, particularly towards Australia. Venetia, yes, that would, if you're able to do an AS level maths, yes, it definitely improves your opportunities for an offer because we can see that you're studying maths for longer. But many schools and colleges no longer offer an AS in maths that you can do. If your school does, great. But I know many schools and colleges no longer offer that to students. So that's why we don't specifically ask for it, because the sector has reduced the number of providers that do offer AS levels anymore. Okay, any other questions? Oh, Calista, is it better to specialise for a master's degree or do a master's in biomedical sciences? So it usually students would do a broader undergraduate programme such as biomedical sciences, human sciences, biological sciences, and then add a specific MSci or master's to your profile. So usually within your degree, you're becoming more and more specialised. So therefore, a fourth year of generalism is usually not what a student needs. So often our students on the BSc don't transfer and or don't apply to do the masters in biomedical sciences at UCL because it would just be more of the same. They will often then go and do a very specific masters either at UCL or elsewhere. Okay, any other questions? Anything else anyone wants to ask? If not, I want to thank you very much for your time. If you do subsequently find that there are more questions you want to ask, you can see the email in the chat that Ian has provided. So biosciences admissions at ucl.ac.uk. They will go straight to an inbox, and Chris, who's on the call today, will forward them directly into my inbox so that I answer them as quickly as possible for you. So again, if you do have ongoing questions, you go, oh, I wish I'd asked that at the time, please just drop them into the admissions inbox, and we'll get you a detailed response about biomedical sciences. Okay, thank you very much indeed.